Hi, everyone. You're supposed to say hi, everyone. Hi, everyone.
Hi, everyone.
I'm Esther from Emuna Judaism Magazine. This is
Aryeh.
And this is my hubby. And so we're just doing a morning talk. We just thought it'd be fun. So we study the Parsha together, as y'all do in your homes. And a lot of times I'll be reading and I'll throw out questions to my husband, who is like just very learned, look very learned. So I'll throw out questions to him, and sometimes my questions are really intelligent, and sometimes my questions are maybe not, but they're good. So I thought I'd just do it out loud today. So we were studying about Chaye Sarah, and one of the miracles that is spoken of is that when she lit the Shabbat candles on Erev Shabbat or Erev Shabbos, that it stayed lit until the next day. And my question that I had for you, and it's going to sound terrible, is like, what's the big deal about that? What's the big deal? Because, you can buy candles that will stay lit today. This is like a big miracle.
So back then, it's not like they had the big festival candles that stay lit for, this is an oil lamp. And
so I'm not imagining that. Okay, so oil.
Yeah, so I'm thinking more along the lines of like the Hanukkah miracle. So you have a candle that's lit, it stays. They're designed. Typically, a Shabbos candle is designed just to stay lit for a certain amount of time.
That seems so uninstinctive, non-instinctive. I always think it'd be the opposite, like that it would be designed to stay lit really long, so you could just stare at your candle. Why is that? Why does it go out so quick? It's the anti-miracle. No, it's not.
Let me look learned first.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I feel like it just does. Yes. But no, it a lot of times I am nervous about candles burning down the house and stuff, and it's like the black your hot plate. Can you relate to that? So it stays.
We almost did have a black. Hot plates.
Yes, it's like we call them sparky, and they're designed not to spark. Oh my goodness! So I can understand why the candles would go out early. Thank you, Jewish producers of candles.
So anyway, so like an oil lamp, and it's reminiscent of the miracle of Hanukkah. Hashem providing more than what comes from the natural, and it's in a sense keeping Shabbat in the home the entire week until the next Shabbat comes. The sanctity of Shabbat.
Okay, could it be a picture of the future time of Mashiach too, that it's always lit?
Everything's about Mashiach, of course.
Okay. Could it be about Mashiach? Yes.
Because Shabbat is even we're told Shabbat is 1/60th of the world to come. Obviously there's always an allusion to Mashiach's time during Shabbat.
There's a lot of 1/60th in Judaism. It's isn't 1/60th with the kosher food if something drops on your plate. But it's no 5-second rule. It's the 1/60th rule. Yeah. But so some of the other things that I was reading about is that in Yalkut Shimoni, it is written that the rewards for lighting Shabbos candles include the following: that Hashem will show the candles of Zion, as it is written, on that day I will search Jerusalem with candles. Zephaniah 1:12. So it's in the future. So I always thought it was interesting that, and I've heard the Rebbe talk about this, that there was a story of somebody, and if I don't get this perfect, forgive me, but somebody said, well, this person's not observant. He found out that they lit Shabbos candles, and he expressed, how can you say that she's not observant if she lights Shabbos candles? So in our mind, in Judaism, there are so many halachot, so many laws and things like that. So how can lighting Shabbos candles mean that if you light Shabbos candles one day, in the future, you will search Jerusalem with candles? So it's saying you have the place in the world to come, basically, because you lit Shabbos candles. What's the deal with that? Aryeh?
It's just that easy, folks. No.
Edit that.
I don't know, maybe. I feel like there's like there's probably a lot of good answers to this, and I won't give one. But one of the thoughts.
Have more coffee, dear.
Hey, I think at one level it kind of shows like how generous and how much Hashem loves us, in the respect that there's so much of the Torah, that there's so many mitzvot, there's so many things to do, and Hashem basically just says, we get the sense here that it's just kind of like the thought of like, if you can just do one, just do one, and you're connected. Because there's other promises in the Tanakh. All Israel has a place in the world to come. So this isn't about like achieving that, but it's about what you're going to have to go through between now and then. So there is this idea of connection. There was something I read I thought was interesting, and I have this book, The Hasidic Dimension, and it's a collection of talks by the Rebbe. Talks about, I'll just read this little section here. It says, the Zohar on the verse, Sarah died in Kiryat Arba, which is Hebron in the land of Canaan, comments that Sarah alludes to the body and Abraham alludes to the soul. Accordingly, we must understand the meaning of the verse in which God tells Abraham, listen to whatever Sarah tells you to do. Seemingly, it is the body that should obey the bidding of the soul, not the other way around. The Baal Shem Tov made the following comment on the verse. When you see a donkey of your enemy lying under its burden, you might want to refrain from helping it, but instead you must aid it. When you see a donkey, and it's pointed out here that in Hebrew, chamor, related to the word chomer, or materialism, means that when you carefully examine your chomer, your material concerns, you will realize that they are your enemy. For at the outset of one's spiritual service, at the beginning of one's life, body and soul are enemies. Moreover, the body lies under its load, and the load referred to is the burden of Torah and mitzvot. For notwithstanding the fact that it's its own burden, that Torah and mitzvot are given to the soul as it becomes clothed within a body, so that the body may be refined. Nevertheless, the body regards Torah and mitzvot as a burden. Aside from the fact that the Torah and mitzvot are given specifically to souls clothed with bodies, the mitzvot as well are clad in physical garments. This is so not only regarding the action commandments, but even those commandments that are classified as duties of the mind and heart. Mitzvot such as belief in God, loving and fearing Him, are only fulfilled when felt in one's physical mind and heart. To kind of bring these two thoughts together,
yes,
it seems like here there's this action of the lighting of the candles. And it's a welcoming in of Shabbat. It's a welcoming in of the 1/60th of the world to come. It's bringing peace into the home. It's bringing, by extension, it's like bringing the Torah and the mitzvot into the home, and preparing ourselves for the world to come.
Okay.
And so sometimes it's hard for us, like the Rebbe pointed out, the Baal Shem Tov said that like, sometimes we struggle, and the Torah and mitzvot, which are good for us, which our soul wants to do. Like
yes.
There's a part of us that always wants to do it, whether or not we actually do it. And we so yearn to do it.
Yes.
And so it's a burden. It's a struggle. So if you can overcome that burden, that struggle,
yes,
and light a candle, do one thing, that's a step in the right direction. And that's the beginning of more obedience to Hashem. So one mitzvah begets another, and it begins us on this path, and which leads ultimately to the world to come.
So one thing, when I light the candles, I used to light the candles in very ornate candle holders, and I have found that I have to make it my own. And I'm a very down to earthy girl, and so for me, like, I really want it. It's connected to my kavana, so I might use tea lights and things like that. I might use something, because it's very important for me to have full kavana as I'm lighting, and so it really sets the tone for me. So I think it connects a little bit with what you're saying, because when you start to do something, you want to get off you want to get on the right foot. If you start a race and you're on the wrong foot, how are you going to keep going? So ultimately, lighting is good. It doesn't say you have to do it with, but to make it your own, to do it from your heart is just so much 10 times more fulfilling for me. So I just wanted to share that. So another promise that we learn is that the nations will walk in your light. So by lighting the candles, we bring in the nations to walk in Hashem's light, as we radiate His light out. And there's so many people who are being called to Judaism right now. People have found out that they are Jewish. It's like miracles. I mean, we laugh because how many of our friends have discovered that they are Jewish, or are picking it up. So, so maybe you would have thought they were the nations, but they're not the nations. They're actually, this just turned them on. And so doing these things could be the thing that turns somebody on to their heritage again.
We're just before the time of Mashiach. I mean,
he says that a lot.
Yeah, it's right around the corner, and this is the time of the redemption. This is the time of everything good is about to happen. So hang in there. But this is also the time when you see sparks being lit, and not just when we light the Shabbat candles.
Yes.
There's also candles being lit all over, little sparks on souls, and people, whether they're discovering their connection to the God of Israel, their connection to the Jewish people, whatever. And don't forget, like, God is the God of Israel, but He's also the creator of the whole world. He's also the God of all people. And so it's important that all people, understand Him and know Him and have a relationship with Him. And it starts
by lighting a candle.
It starts with lighting a candle, and literally, and then that translates into more things. And that just light a candle and let the light will attract people to it.
Oh, I love it. Okay, so thank you for joining us in our Emuna Cafe. Who thinks my husband should have a better cup? Okay. And this has been Esther and
Aryeh.
Okay, shalom. See you next time.